Here we have the Epiphone E422T. It's called the Epiphone Century 1966, and it's like a reissue of the sort of the classic design. And it sounds very nice indeed. You can get them in this finish, the sort of sunburst, or like a cherry red type thing. But they're both matte finish, so it gives it a nice earthy old school feel. And what we've got here is a single P90 on the neck here. So just acoustically first, I'm going to play this and I'm going to see how it stacks up to other acoustic guitars, and it sounds really nice. You can just play it just as a standard acoustic if you like. It's quite thin. It's about 40mm wide at this point, just slowly sort of coming out as like an arch top and a little bit fatter in the middle, and it's completely hollow. The neck is glued in. So here we go. Let's see how that stacks up with something else that I've got here. Like, well, I've got a 1960 Hofner President here, and you can see it's much, much fatter. In fact, it's almost twice as fat as this. And then a standard Dreadnought guitar here. It's an old Echo Ranger from the late 70s. Yeah, they're all very nice, they all do their thing, but this P90 really turns it into something rather different. I've got my AC30 here, and so if we ramp the volume up of this, suddenly we've got something that's real bluesy, real dark. If we ramp the gain up a bit, now this has got a wound G, but you could put a plain G on it. Now the trouble with wound G, the wound G on this, is that the P90 won't be as sensitive. There's your D string, your B, and the G. So what I've actually done is adjusted the pole piece on here. So I've just unscrewed it so that the pole piece is a little bit higher. Just helps to balance it. It doesn't make a massive difference to volume, but it just helps balance that G with the surrounding strings. But you can have this thing up pretty loud. It doesn't really feedback at all. So you can use this on a, you know, kind of a bit of a rockier vibe, although it's kind of, you know, obviously with the pickup in this position, it's a bit bassy for some people's tastes, but a nice alternative to, you know, a Strat or a Tele, or even a sort of a, you know, Les Paul or whatever. So at this point it is worth comparing the pickup in here to the pickup that's in my that Hofner President. Of course they're two completely different guitars, so it's very hard to sort of have an objective viewpoint, but this is like a shadow pickup. So they are completely different animals really, but I hope you'll agree that Epiphone, and this is a guitar that's under 500 quid, so it really is rather a special bit of gear to have lying about, because it does so many different jobs. I hope you'll agree the acoustic sound of it is really good. It's designed, you know, to be an electric guitar, but got quite a nice sort of acoustic tone. It's not too trebly. So you can put, of course, lots of people put tape wound strings on this, or flat wound, to get that sort of jazz tone. But for me, I prefer the sort of all-roundness of this, where you've got something that is, because it's still quite jangly, sparkly. Now, of course, because it's a standard sort of acoustic guitar, this is like a jumbo shape. There is no cutaway on this, so if you want to reach the higher notes, you have to go across. But that's a small price to pay, really. This is meant to be a guitar that's got that sort of depth with those lower notes. Now the adjustment for the action on this is two little sort of screws here, two little thumb screws, or that you can just adjust the height kind of overall, and the tailpiece is constructed so that all of the strings are in tune. So intonation wise, I mean, you know, what more do you want? This is just amazing. When you roll the tone off this, you can get a real dark jazz tone. Now, of course, you can stick this through a load of effects pedals if you really want to, but I thought that the best way to demo this guitar is just to hear that, just the tone on its own through an amp that's just got a little bit of gain on it. But when you ramp the gain down, when you just turn it all the way down and the master up, there's plenty of top end there. There's no sort of deficiency in that. It's not sort of just a raw muffled type noise. So there we go. There is the Epiphone Century 1966. A very, very worthwhile purchase.